you forget, or you don't realize, no, I think you forget how strong you are. You forget that you can handle a lot more than you think you can handle. I'm doing a lot with this album, and there's a lot on my shoulders. And on top of that, I'm a mom, and I'm a dog owner. It's a big dog. And I've got a lot of responsibilities. I've learned that I can lead. I've gotten used to, over the past couple of years, delegating, because I've always done everything myself my entire life. And then I got to a place where I realized it was so much, I need to let go of stuff. So then I started letting go of stuff, and I went, okay, this makes it a lot easier for me. I can be creative. But that's not always a good thing. And so this past year has been about me taking back responsibilities, taking them back. But you don't know if you can handle that. It's a lot. And I'm still standing, and I haven't gained 50 pounds. So I started running. I've learned that I can lead. I've learned that I understand more music than I thought I did. I learned that I can direct. I have a lot more confidence in my ability to articulate what I want. And I've learned that I have boundaries that I need to be clearer about, so that other people are clear about what they are. Goes back to, I've learned who I am.
Wop 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 wop. Wop 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 wop. Bum 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 bum. Well, you might think I'm kind of crazy, might think I'm kind of cool, but if you want to play around, don't play me for a fool, 'cause I'ma get you, woman. I'll get you right up out of here. I will tell you once and warn you twice, and then you best disappear. Let me tell you.
I think for the first time in my life, I am accepting who I am. I am more comfortable with who I am. And I am not trying so hard to adapt so that others will like me or be friends with me. I spent my whole life going from place to place, you know, being in different schools and being in different countries and always being different. And as such, I'm incredibly good at adapting and at making people feel comfortable. And it's a great gift to have. But the challenge with that gift is that you sometimes lose yourself because you're so busy trying to make everybody else happy or trying to make everybody else like you. And I've spent the past, I don't know, 3, 4 years, maybe even a little bit longer, trying to convince people that I can neither sing or sing blues and that I belong in this place. And I appreciate every aspect of everything that I've gotten. The people who come to listen to the music, the people who dance to the music, the people who sing with the music. I really appreciate it. But what I feel confident about now is I don't have to make anybody like me. I don't have to be something to make other people feel comfortable. I can be myself. And hopefully, people will still like and enjoy that. It's not that I wasn't being my full self before, but I think I was definitely trying to adapt, you know, and maybe that's also a part of growing, a part of maturing, a part of becoming a different type of artist. As you grow, as you record different things, you grow more into the person that the universe wants you to be. And maybe I'm moving towards that more, and making realizations about myself. I don't know that I didn't know. I don't know that I knew before that I wasn't truly me. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like I was faking or being phony, but I'm certainly aware now that my breath is easier. My breath is easier. I'm no longer hung up on, oh, I hope they like it. Which is not to say when this album comes out, I'm not going to be going, oh, I hope they like it. But it's sort of like when you go out with a boy, you know, and you sit waiting by the phone, waiting for him to call. I don't feel that anxiousness anymore. It's sort of like I went out with a boy. If he calls, great, we had a great time. Or if he doesn't call, that's okay too, because there's other boys. I sort of feel like I'm at that point in my life where I don't have to wait for someone else to approve before I approve it myself.
You know, a really cool thing that you've got is your breath. There's a really nice sound where maybe I'm kind of crazy. You do this kind of sassy stuff. Use it, because it also helps you to get away with a lot of stuff. Like Aretha does it all the time. And all she's doing, and a lot of those singers are doing, they're capitalizing on this thing. It's got nothing to do with chops or notes or accuracy, but they'll capitalize on this duskiness. Or you've got a smoky thing when you do like at the end of that line, and you do this. You're in this.
Doing this album, I wanted to know me. I wanted it to be about me, and I wanted people who knew me. So I was looking for someone who knew my voice and someone who knew who what I was capable of and how to bring it out of me. I had a couple of choices, but the one that made the most sense for a lot of different reasons was Howard Ayee. Howard is a bass player. He's a producer. He used to work with Dominic Triano. He used to be in Rough Trade. He was my bass player on Blueprint, on the album, and on tour as well for a bit.
You know, to me, the most important thing on this record will be her voice. And again, I've been involved in things where, you know, great bed tracks and everything. You know, the band's great bass players and all this, but what happened to the singer? You know, so I mean, I've always spoken to Shakura about that for years. Is, you know, the one thing that's most important to me anyway, the vocals got to work, or forget everything else. You know, so she has to take the hat off and go out there and sing, literally sing for me. And it's ultimately for her though, and we make sure things are really good, you know, representative, you know, if it's a little sharp, a little flat, a little rushed, that's the usual thing. But we're really spending time on that, I'd say, and it's important.
And just the way he articulated what he needed to hear was eye-opening for me, because I actually got what he was saying, and I opened up even more, and I got to tell the story, and he gave me references that worked for me.
Go for your best sound. Okay. Don't worry about, you know, because I think what happens is sometimes you pop out of that, it sounds heavy, it sounds regular, you know what I mean, kind of regular, whereas you just play with your sassy part of your voice is what you can just smoke on that.
I also brought in Scott Cable. I met Scott during the IBCs last year. And I loved his energy. Paul Benjamin introduced us. I loved his energy. And what I loved mostly about him, because I'd approached a couple of different producers, some of them were really pushy, some of them were really talking about what they wanted to do, you know. They really had big, huge egos about what they saw. Scott was like, here's some music. Listen to it. This is sort of what I like, and I've listened to your stuff. I think you might like some of this. I liked the way he came about me. It wasn't about imposing his view. It was about, I've listened to what you do. I think this would work well with what you do. And we actually used one of the songs that he suggested because of that. So those are the two producers I chose to work with. I wanted to work with people who would take care of my voice. So how does it start? We all need someone to give a little sympathy.
No, I can't sing one.
So when you feel the need for comfort and understanding, talk to me.
Talk to me.
Call me.
Call me.
Call me. Yeah.
So that's when the last one we gotta figure something out.
We all need one.
It's gotta be a little less.
Okay, so I'll do it again. I worked with my key band, which is the rhythm section, Donna Grantis, Lance, Tony, Roger. And that was important to me to work with them because we've been working on these songs for the whole year. I've been putting originals in every time we were on tour. So a lot of them we worked through and they knew the songs. I brought in other musicians that I'd also been working with throughout the year, Ayee, Brook Blackburn, because again, this album being about me, it needed to contain or it needed to have the musicians that knew me. And all of those musicians know me in different ways. They know how to communicate with me musically in different ways. And I hear them in different songs. So there's some songs that I'm doing on the album and I hear Tony playing. It's not that Shamaka couldn't do it. Shamaka would be amazing at it. But I hear Tony speaking that musically. There's other stuff I hear Shamaka speaking it musically on. There's stuff I hear Brook emphasizing, you know, in a way that I'm sure Donna could do as well. But it was important to me that I hear what I want to hear.
It's interesting me working on this record with her because my element is totally different. I come from an R&B background, you know, R&B jazz sort of background, and not necessarily the blues. I do play in the blues with my brothers, but the background that I have is completely different. So it's very interesting to apply my flavor to what she's doing here, because really I think it's interesting. It marries together quite nice, but it's different.
I think this record, it's definitely rooted in the blues. It's a blues record, but it seems like she kind of gets music from the wide breadth of blues, whether it be Memphis, Kansas City, modern blues, older. And if you're if you're somebody who likes blues or very soulful music, I think anybody who enjoys heartfelt, soulful music is going to dig this record.
Me, it kind of encapsulates the different sides of her. She's got a rock edge to her, but she's also obviously a very soulful blues singer. So there's still some stuff I haven't heard, but what I have heard, it's been a nice cross section of those styles. And really, it's her. Like it's, you know, you can hear a lot of her character in it. You know, she's managed to creatively capture all the elements of her personality.
Only knows my first name.
Having grown up in Toronto and in Switzerland, I'm really influenced by what music was around here in that time, and also what I had to listen to in Switzerland. You know, what I had to listen to in Toronto, because we didn't have a lot of blues, we didn't have a lot of R&B, we didn't have any funk going on. So rock, to me, is a huge part of who I am. Having Donna on board, one of the first reasons that I wanted Donna in this band after James Bryan left was because of the way she rocked me. From the very first time we jammed together, there was a rock element to it that I just loved. And I love that she was able to do that on stage and that it was able to bring out stuff in me. And it's something I've always wanted to push the envelope on.
We talked about, the direction that we wanted to go in, which was more of a rockin' direction. Although the album, is rockin' and there are quiet moments, it's very bluesy at times. There's a whole spectrum of, different styles of songs. But we talked about, we want some songs to really rock on the next record. And, there were a couple of tunes on Brown Sugar that did that, I think, like Gonna Tell, which I think went over really well live. So we thought, let's tap into, that particular vibe and explore that a bit more and see what can happen.
I didn't want to smooth down edges. I didn't want to make everything work together on one disc. I wanted to be able to say, this is everything that we are. But I know it's going to be too much for you on one disc, so here, I'll give you two. I'm going to give you a rock disc, I'm going to give you a blues disc. On the blues disc, we do every type of blues. We've got slow shuffles, we've got the upbeat stuff, we've got jump up, we've got all of that. And we've got some horns in there, some harp on there. We've got all of that. And on the rock stuff, we're rocking it out.
It's all the same, that's why I'm glad. The devil only knows my first name. The devil only knows my first name. The devil only knows my first name.
First of all, live off the floor is always a great way to record, I think. Once you've rehearsed the tune enough times and the energy of everybody, you can see everybody in the same room, with the exception of Tony, who was on camera in another room, but we could all feel each other, as opposed to layering things one instrument at a time. I think it's really a great way to achieve a sound and an energy and a good way of doing it.
Well, working with Shakura is always an experience, because when she starts creating, it's for real, and so things are going to happen differently. Like every time, you have to be prepared to just to play things off on the spur of the moment. She'll ask you different things to do right during the session, from one take to another. You have to come prepared to play.
I said the devil only knows my first name.
I was actually really thrilled because the songs that she presented at the first meeting were pretty well across the whole blues rock gamut. So it's fun for me as a producer to work on these the old school stuff all the way up to the new school stuff. And we've got some rock in this album too, which was, I think, has turned out remarkably. The band just kicked. And to have Shakura on top of that, the soul black sound on top of the rock sound, is a beautiful blend, I think.
I don't know what that is, never heard that.
I thought I had a good job.
On that?
But money's always spent. Now what am I gonna do?
Stays on the one.
When I only got half the rent. I thought I had a good man. But when I looked around, my man and some woman were half across the town. Yeah, chorus. She's got the halfway blues.
I think what's really great about this record is that Shakura, from the very beginning, has had, a vision that she really wants to execute with this record, and I think she really has. And it's great watching her in the studio, watching her really musically take control over, throwing in suggestions or getting musicians to really give her what she wants to hear. And I think that's a really special thing. And I love seeing that in different different artists, you know, really bring out the best in different musicians and really get across their musical vision.
Part of the reason that I wanted people here who did not sing for a living is because I wanted that element of just having fun, of just singing it out and not caring what it sounds like, but just enjoying yourself. And I think that's a really important element of music that we lose. We forget to enjoy it. So don't worry about that. So I think the whole idea of this album was that it be this huge ball of who is Shakura? And then you can just open it up and go, all of this gooey, chocolatey, caramelly, almondy mess. This is who I am. I'm not one part of it. I'm not just blues. I'm not just rock. I'm not anything other than all of this. And you can either accept it and have a snack with me, or you can sit back and go, it's good. It's not my cup of tea, but it's good. And so, you know, I'm putting it out there. If it doesn't work, I'll be a jazz singer.